Hello everyone. You have to bear with me because this is my first stitch with me, but I wanted to use this stamped cross stitch as like a tester to see if this layout is going to work. So this is Zen from Oraloa, and I haven't done much on it. Oh, look at that, I haven't even tied the back. So that's a great start. This is a new stand that I'm trying out. I don't particularly like stitching with the stand, but I have to for this video. I mean, if I was stitching by myself, I would just hold it in hand. But it's alright actually. This is a Lowry stand and I never thought I would ever buy one. I never thought I would need one. Please tell me that's in now. What am I doing? What am I doing? I should be tight enough now. Tell you what the stand does need though. A bit of WD-40. Because it's a bit squeaky. So yeah, what I'm going to do is use this as like a practice. I actually did film a stitch with me last night in my bedroom. It was a disaster up there. I really needed a chair like I'm on today at my desk. I tried sitting on the bed and having the big tripod like overhead. It didn't work. But what I was actually stitching on was Lord of the Rings because I wanted to see if I could get Pattern Keeper on the screen at the same time as my stitching, so you could see me marking it off. That bit went well, but the audio was really bad, and it was because I kept moving my head in and out. So at the minute I'm actually recording on my phone instead of my normal camera, and the reason for that is because if this stitch with me goes on for a long time, it takes why can I not speak today? I've just filmed a floss tube as well. Basically, when I film on my camera, it takes forever to upload. So the way my setup is at the minute, I record on my camera. I've got a Sony camera, which I really like the picture and the clarity of. I could do with a better microphone, but for now it'll do. But the problem is, for some reason it just doesn't want to connect to my laptop, this camera. So at the minute I am uploading and editing on my phone, which is not the best way. I've noticed with my editing, sometimes I will cut things out and they stay in, so the app that I'm using on my phone is not good. It's not good enough to fine-tune the edits. It's okay if you want to do a video with no editing or something like that. It's a really good app for something that's free, but I need something a bit more fine-tuned. I do a lot of cuts in my floss tube because I don't like the upload speed. So basically I try and record them as fast as I can because I know that it's going to take forever to upload to my phone. So I do a lot of cuts where I'm not wasting time. Things that you would normally edit in a editing software anyway out of a video, but I just stop recording for a few minutes. Especially when I'm trying to go from project to project and finding it and all that type of stuff. I don't want all that in the video, so I stop the clip instead of editing it out. But because of that, a lot of my edits go wrong. So last night I did I think I did about 130 stitches on Lord of the Rings with you. Well, you won't see it because I deleted it because the sound was awful. The picture was okay with the tripod over my head. It was okay, but it made it really difficult for me to stitch. It made my back hurt. And because of the angle. This is definitely a better angle. So I think we're on to a winner. As long as the audio comes out okay for this one, I will then move on to a counted cross stitch with Pattern Keeper. Well, the son just woke up, so I've just had to stop and get his breakfast sorted. I can't remember what we were talking about. But I hope everyone is ready for Christmas. I've got one more floss tube to go before Christmas because I'm having the Christmas week off. So at the time of recording this anyway, it depends when you see this. And it also depends when I put this video up. I'm not sure if I should, because basically what I do is I film my floss tubes on a Saturday and they go up on the following Monday. So I edit over the weekend. Usually I do them early Saturday before anybody wakes up. And then, because my oldest son goes to Saturday school, he'll go off to Saturday school. My youngest usually has a bit of a lay-in. And then I will record then. And then I will edit throughout Saturday and Sunday. Have it uploaded and scheduled for the Monday. So today is a Saturday. I've already edited the video because it wasn't a very long one. Haven't uploaded it or anything yet. Ready to be scheduled. I've got to do the thumbnail. I've got to do the description and everything like that. So I've still got a little bit to do, but it doesn't take too long. So I'm not sure when to put this one on because obviously my floss tube goes up on a Monday and I don't want to keep spamming people with videos. Probably this one might go up on a Wednesday or maybe tonight. Maybe I could put it up tonight as just an extra video. That might be a good idea. But yeah, I hope you're all sorted for Christmas. I'm not. I've done, present-wise I'm done, but I need to get my food. That all needs to be, I just keep turning around to see if the camera's still on. But yeah, my food needs to be done. And yesterday when I recorded my other floss tube, I did say I'm finding it tricky with a stand to use my left hand. Last night when I did the Lord of the Rings one, because that's quite confetti heavy, the fabric is getting really thick. So it was difficult to push the needle in with my left hand because it's my non-dominant hand. But this one feels much easier. I also said on the stitch with me that didn't go up, if this goes well, perhaps we can have a specific cross stitch pattern that we only stitch on the stitch with me's. And I was going on about how I could, I'm basically justifying having a new start is what I was doing to myself. I was kind of convincing myself. I was like, yeah, we could have a whole new start exclusive for Stitch With Me's. You know, any excuse for me to make something, to start on something new. It's not like I need any new starts. I've got enough whips, which it really does surprise me how many times I want to start something new now. Because when I first started cross stitching, I was a monogamous stitcher. I wouldn't stitch on anything else other than the one, like I do with my diamond painting. Because having more than one diamond painting tends to stress me out. But with cross stitch it doesn't, which is strange. I think it's because with a cross stitch I know that I can put it away and they're not big enough that they have to stay out. Whereas a diamond painting, if I did more than one, I would struggle to find places to put them. and each one obviously needs its own storage for its drills or the diamonds, which are a lot bigger than the storage for floss. I think it's more of a space thing for me. It's not the fact that my brain doesn't like having more than one thing on the go, it's just the space. I really don't like seeing things cluttered about all the time. If they're, say, like, because I'm a collector of things, like I collect Pokemon cards and things like that, if they have a specific place where they're like showcased, like on a shelf, that's fine for me, as long as they have somewhere. But when it comes to like whips with diamond paintings and they're just in my way, I don't like it. I also discussed perhaps starting Twitch after Christmas sometime. I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't think I have enough skills with my camera, and my laptop might be a bit of a problem, but at some point next year I would like to start streaming on Twitch. It was actually my son, my middle child, he's 15, that convinced me to start on Twitch, because I was talking to him about these Stitch with me's, and I said I've got to try and find like a good angle for filming these Stitch with me's and things like that, and but they're all pre-recorded. And he said, well, why don't you do them live? YouTube lives don't seem that great. They seem like they're a bit of a pain, which is what I said to him. And he said, well, why don't you go on Twitch? I watch Twitch all the time, you know, my mates live stream, it's not that difficult. So when it comes to it, I'm going to ask him a few more questions about it. I think he has done it before, because he's a gamer and he plays a lot of Star Wars. I think it's Star Wars Battlefront he plays. I just stabbed myself. But yeah, he was telling me all about it, and I have been doing a bit of research. There is cross stitches on there, so people do want to see it. But that would be a way that we could basically do a Stitch with me, but you can actually talk back to me instead of watching a pre-recorded video. So it's like a Stitch with me, but interactive. And that's what I want. I want to be able to talk to you guys instead of talking to myself. I mean, I already do whipping chats for diamond painting like this, and it is tricky to continuously talk because you kind of run out of things to say. And I think with cross stitch, it's slightly harder because you're concentrating more. It takes a lot more concentration to stitch than it does diamond paint. So that is number 26. I'm hoping I can cut my head out of this video, because at the minute my head is in it. I'm sure there was a way yesterday where I was recording on my phone, because I'm not used to recording on the phone, so I'm sure that yesterday there was a way that I found that I could zoom in. But for some reason today it's not letting me zoom in as I'm recording. Which is a little bit frustrating. I mean, I definitely want that for if I live stream, because you do not want to be seeing the side of my cheek. That's a bit low. Let me just stab that. So I'm still full of cold. This last week has been awful for being ill. There was a couple of days where I really struggled with my breathing, Thankfully that has gone and I'm now just stuffed up, but it was not nice. I haven't done anything to the Etsy shop this week because obviously I haven't been very well. It was supposed to be the week for my gonks, and the plan was to get all of the ones that I haven't finished done. So I need to do September, October, November and December's gonks still. But obviously because they're handmade, they take a while. And I was just not well enough this week to be focusing on trying to make things. It would have ended in disaster, so I just left it. Which is unfortunate because it means I'm not going to get them done before Christmas, because next week will be putty. I alternate what I do every week. So one week I'll make scented putty for diamond painting and test new scents, you know, restock, things like that. And then the week after will be cover minders from clay or normal cover minders like enamel ones, and it will be occasionally cross stitch patterns, or I'll be drawing a whatever I've got planned. I'm actually not drawing anything at the minute, so I need to think of something for my next project. Usually takes me about a month to get a picture done. I'm still new to it all, digital art. So just to rewind a bit, I am learning to draw on digital art, and I have no artistic skills whatsoever. I think they all went to my daughter, but I am enjoying it, and that's the main thing. I mean, art is subjective, and the biggest hurdle that I need to overcome is remembering that my art is my art and not anybody else's, and I shouldn't be trying to have my art look like somebody else's, if that makes sense, because I've done a few pictures in the last couple of months and I've thought, well, that doesn't look right. You know, other artists do it this way or that way, and I need to remember that I'm not them. I need to stop, because my art, my style will be what makes my art mine. Same as my cross stitches. Yesterday I was talking about a mistake that I'd done in the Lord of the Rings pattern, and I showed the camera on Pattern Keeper how I fix it. Basically, I mark off the stitches on Pattern Keeper that have been ticked down as done when they're in the wrong place, and so I undo that, and then I will go over the mistake with whatever stitch is supposed to be there, if I can. If I can't, then I will take the stitches out, but it's not often that I do that. And I was talking about how it doesn't bother me, how it makes my cross stitch mine, it makes it individual, but yet when I come to draw things, I constantly think, is this good enough because it doesn't look like somebody else's art? Well, obviously it's not going to look like somebody else's art because it's mine, so I need to stop that. Definitely need to stop doing that. So with this cross stitch pattern or kit, I'm not doing the white, so all of the green that you can see around here isn't getting stitched in because it's just plain white, and I've got to wash this anyway. I didn't see the point in making all of them stitches because that's going to take a long time. There's a lot of background down here and there's lots of white scattered around, but when you wash this, the fabric is white, so it will give it like a little bit of a partial effect, which I don't mind. But what? Let me say that again. You will, if you've never seen me before, you will get used to me tripping over my own words. A lot of the times when I think of something to say, my brain works faster than my mouth, so I'll say it in my head, and sometimes I'll say it in my head thinking I've already said it out loud and I haven't. But what I was going to say was, if we did do this often, what cross stitch pattern should we do? Because I have 2 stamped kits and I'm actually finding it really easy to stitch on this while talking to you. Or should we do a counted cross stitch? And if we do a counted cross stitch, should we do one that I already have, like I've already started, or should we kit up a whole new project like I was convincing myself to do on the Stitch of Me that didn't make it? I mean, I have just started Prefect's Bathroom, so realistically I could use that. But then that is part of my 2024 goals. It's so my 2024 goals, I've basically got 1 kit each month that I want to focus on more than any other kit that month. And I said all the kits in floss tube 13, I think it was 13, where it'll say in the description 2024 plans. So basically every month one of my projects will get more focus than the others. I don't have a minimum stitch count that I want to achieve. It's just I will stitch on that particular kit as much as I can for that month, so that'll be every week, every couple of days, alongside the 200 stitches a day I do on Lord of the Rings, although I don't pressure myself to do the full 200. If I don't feel like stitching it that night, I'll do something like, I think the least I've done is 130 in one night. Some nights I even go over the 200. It just depends if I'm feeling in the mood to do that one. I haven't got burnt out with it yet though, which is great, and being on floss tube has actually made my progress on my stitching fly by. So before I did floss tube, I didn't actually get that much progress done. I started that Lord of the Rings in May of this year for my birthday. It was my birthday start for my 33rd birthday, and I gave myself 7 years to finish it before I hit 40. And I've done so much in these last, I think it's 2 months now that I've been on floss tube, that I'm really glad that I started it. Because before that I would have probably done a couple of stitch. I would have picked it up for 1 week basically and then put it down for a month, and there's no way that that project's getting done if I don't work on it every day, just a little bit. So yeah, what do you think we should do? Do you think we should do a full coverage that I've already got and just keep it to the Stitch of Me's? Do you think we should do a stamped? I can keep doing this one if people want to see this one. It's easy and it's quite clear to see, whereas some of the full coverages are smaller. This is a 14 count, and most of my full coverages are 25 count. Lord of the Rings is 28 count, so it depends what you want to see. Do you want to see something that's easy to, like, you can see the stitches going in and out easier with a 14 count? Or do you just want me to start something new? Let me know, because I don't need much encouragement to start a new project. That is for sure. Right, so I will do the end of this thread and then I will call it a day. Check the audio for this, see if it's any good. And if it is, you will see it. But let me know down below if you like Stitch With Me's, if this is something that you want to see more often. Let me know how the camera angle is for you, how the sound is. Any feedback will be greatly appreciated because I love a bit of feedback. I want to make it the best that it can be. So thank you very much, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.